So this is a randomized phase 2 study where the patients are randomized to receive the combination of nivolumab plus ipilimumab versus ipilimumab in a 2-to-1 randomization. So what we found is that the patients received the combination and with a focus on the BRAF wild-type population had a 61% response rate. And all patients who received the combination had a 22% complete response rate.
You also got a response in BRAF mutated, didn't you?
Yes, in both, but in the complete response rate just happened to be the same in both BRAF mutated and BRAF wild-type patients.
So what are the data coming out of this? You've got quite an impressive hazard ratio, haven't you? And overall response rates are very, very promising.
Yeah, the hazard ratio, when we're looking at the progression-free survival in favor of the combination, was 0.4 with a significant p-value.
Clearly this combination is not licensed yet, but do you think it should be very soon?
So given the activity, the response rate, the complete response rate, obviously cautious with some of the side effects that were manageable but did require intervention with the immunosuppressors or steroids, I think that this should be something that's considered in the armamentarium for patients up front, first line for the treatment of metastatic melanoma.
Now this was 2 checkpoint inhibitors. Is it the right 2 to be combining? Are there other possibilities?
These are the 2 that have been most advanced clinically and most developed clinically. So these are make the logical ones. There are other ones that are now coming out in more phase 1 early studies, and how we combine immuno agents together, either being checkpoints or other aspects, how we combine with targeted therapies, how we combine with chemotherapy or radiation, etc., is really an evolving clinical science that will need more investigation and more maturity of the data.
What is your recommendation presently to cancer doctors about the way this is going, and what are the likely therapies for melanoma in the very near future?
Well, we now have anti-CTLA-4 and anti-PD-1. We are right now, at least in terms of our availability, it's the anti-PD-1s are after ipilimumab in terms of how they've been approved. There's data that has come out in terms of its direct comparison in the frontline setting, and now with some our data here showing the combination in the frontline setting. So the maturity of the data for follow-up for survival, looking at the phase 3 trial that has been completed, combining nivolumab plus ipilimumab versus nivolumab alone versus ipilimumab alone in a 3-arm study, will also give us further insights in terms of data and how to guide such recommendations. So the good news, we have many novel agents now recently approved and some combinations in the future that we have to offer to our patients.
Is it your belief that combinations of checkpoint inhibitors trump using them sequentially?
So that is something that needs to be further investigated. We do have sequential trials that have looked at giving one first versus the other and vice versa, and those data will need to mature. But having in combinations at the same time a high response rate with a complete response rate is something that is hard to ignore and will obviously need further follow-up and maturity.
Finally, could you give a very brief take-home message for cancer doctors, busy cancer doctors? What is that right now in terms of melanoma and what to do about it?
So right now, looking at 2 checkpoints together in combination, it does have high response rates. It does have a significant complete response rate, but toxicity that must be monitored and managed well. And this is another part of the armamentarium that we can consider for patients with metastatic melanoma, maybe possibly in the future, to treat this disease.